All right, we're going to be talking about distributions of data. Let's say we have a 10-point quiz, and we're going to plot on this 10-point quiz scores from 0 to 10, because that's what you're able to get. Let's say for the class, we have a handful of scores. Let's say we had 1 10. Let's say we had like 3 9s. Let's say we had 5 8s. Okay. Let's say we got 2 6s, and we got one over here like a 2. All right, say those are the tests for the quiz results. All right, now let's make a curve that kind of shows this. Make a little curve for this histogram. Make a curve that kind of matches that. All right, this right here, the dots are called a dot plot. The x's, sorry, are called a dot plot. This little line helps us kind of get a little curve to see what it looks like. And we're going to be talking about these curves. All right, these curves show us a picture of the data. And we're going to see how these curves, what they mean and stuff related to them. But again, they're created by taking data from some number to some number, and we stack them. And then once we stack them all, we make a curve to kind of see what it looks like. And that's going to lead into the next parts. So for this, the mean or the median describe the center of data, and the standard deviation in quartiles describe the spread, how far it's spread out of the data. So these are going to be important, and these are going to be important. What we're mostly going to be focusing in on for now is mean and standard deviation. Those are the key ones. Now mean, I hope you understand, is the average value of the data. Add them all up, divide by how many is the mathematical way. Median is the middle value, or you take the average of the two middle values. Basically, the median is the middle, which means you have 50% of the data above and 50% below. Standard deviation describes how far a data value is from the mean. So it's how we measure spread from the mean. And quartiles are 3 points that divide a data into 4 equal parts. And it deals with a box and whisker thing. And these quartiles break up data, and the quartiles relate to the median. You'll see that in the future. We're going to be talking about 3 different ways data is represented. You have negatively skewed data, which means you have a skew or a tail on the left side, or the negative side. Think of this as negative and this is positive, like a number line. You have this which is symmetric, which means it's right smack in the middle with no tail. And then positively skewed, so you have this skew on the right here, that's positively skewed data. So we're going to be focusing in mostly right here in the middle, in this symmetric. This little curve is called a normal distribution, but later on we'll talk about these on the left. Now, these little curves come from a table, a histogram, come from a dot plot, and that's how you get these heights. We talked about it earlier. Anyways, these are another way of representing this set of data. It's called a box and whisker. The median is always the middle of the box and whisker, and these sides are called your quartiles. We'll talk about that at another point. Here, your median's in the middle, quartiles, and you have your median right there and your quartiles, and here are the edges of the data for all of them. So this box and whisker will be something we'll talk about later. The most important are these curves, and again, most of all is this right here. Now what you'll notice here is the mean is always smack in the middle of the data. All right. The mean is smack in the middle, where the median breaks up the data in half here and half the data is there. Half's here, half's here. For the median, half the data is here and half the data is here. It breaks it up in half, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. Now, what best describes the center and spread? Well, for a negatively skewed set of data, what best describes the center and spread? Well, what best describes the center when we have a skew is the median. That is the key way to describe center. And what describes the spread are the quartiles. Now you could, instead of using the quartiles, they also call it the 5-number summary sometimes. So if it's symmetric, your center is going to be the mean. And then your spread is going to be the standard deviation. Now, in a symmetric, the mean and median are the same, but we're going to focus on the mean and standard deviation for a symmetric. And this last one, if it's positively skewed, which is skewed, you're going to use the same things as over here. So it's basically the same thing, just skewed on the opposite side. So we're going to use the median, and for our spread, we're going to use something called the quartile, which we'll talk about later. Now, lastly, if we have a negative skew like this, the mean's here in the middle, and the median will always be above the mean. So if we look right down here, the median is above the mean, or to the right of the mean. For this one, we said the median and the mean are equal, so the median is equal to, or is the mean, but we'll call it equal to the mean. And this last one, you can see the median is below the mean. So if it's positively skewed, the median is going to be below the mean. Or you could say it's left of the mean. Recap is different kind of skews. We're going to focus on this type of symmetric. You have these box plots, which would be another way of drawing this. You're going to choose, if it's skewed, you're going to use these types of description for center and spread. And if it's symmetric, use these. And then where the median is in comparison to the mean is kind of important depending on the skew.